somehow, somehow I'm key to how this could be used against a person and in support of the Edward Snowden argument. Somehow, what the problem is, there is a real thing going on with Russia. There's a real thing going on there, man. And a lot of that stuff is being silenced. See, our FBI director was what? His dismissal, which might have been unjust, because I'm not really pro FBI in a lot of ways. I'm not, but the law enforcement, I really support uniform law enforcement. And this is what Charles Barkley is trying to do. Even though he seems like an Uncle Tom, the basketball player Charles Barkley, he's trying to draw a line of peace so that law enforcement doesn't continue going around bashing our heads in. He's trying to call for peace, for a timeout. In his own primitive way, he's trying to do it. Charles Barkley is trying to do it. This is what he's trying to do. He's trying to call for a timeout. He really is. He really is. Yeah, he doesn't want. He doesn't want law enforcement to become angry against the people. Somebody's trying to stoke that somewhere. It may be a right wing, redneckish, that sort of fascist. Let's call it that, because I don't like calling people rednecks. It's a derogatory term. That fascist, right wing aspect is trying to direct law enforcement chiefly against the Afro-ethnic men, to stymie or cut down their economic solvency, the economic potency, which is a corollary and somehow related to their erotic or sexual virility, among other things. Even travel, freedom of movement, travel, and all that is connected with their attractiveness. They become more attractive. And a lot of the Afro-ethnic men, and some of them will watch this and say, yeah, you should fucking talk. The pot calling the kettle black, all these kind of terms. A lot of Afro-ethnic men are irresponsible with that financial and economic potency or economic virility and freedom of movement, be it domestic or global, and the accompanying amorous or erotic attractiveness, or how can I say, not availability. See, my vernacular, my vocabulary is very small. The erotic potentiality, or the sexual capability that goes along with that, the sexual appeal that goes along, the erotic appeal that goes with financial solvency or financial ample, gainful economic income or potency. Yeah, that goes along with that. They want to stymie and they want to abate, they want to cut, they want to vacate that. This fascist sort of a structure and vibration. Yeah, they don't like that. Strictly from the Afro-ethnic male. Now, you say, well, these Africans are running around, but not even so much the African, but something about your African, their meekness. They have a sort of a meekness that doesn't rub the right wing to the fascist structure. It doesn't rub them too much the wrong way. But the Afro-American or the Afro-Caribbean seems to be adamant. He seems to be obstinate or belligerent about things. They don't like that. No, they don't like that. Demanding that he has rights just as they do. When the imbued or the inferred, the de facto unspoken culture is you don't really have the same equality, and they're trying to remind you in various micro scenarios going on all over the world regularly to remind you that you don't have the same rights that they do. That they are the ruling class. They designed the television. They designed building structures, mechanical, steel forging, mastery of metallurgy. That's what propelled the Caucasian strength in the world. It is their harsh environment, their harsh climes and weather systems, and their endurance thereof of it physiologically. Even though many of them died, once I got into them deep, many of them died, man. Many of them, man. Regrettably so. Many of them died horribly, And their mastery over metallurgy, man, which is projectile, bullets, missiles, ordnance delivery. That's what they call it, ordnance delivery. Parabolic delivery of it, landing in the right place, projecting it, and how much velocity to move varying weights with varying velocities and varying trajectories, curves and parabolic modes, paths of travel, yeah, all that kind of stuff. Blacks are not germane or party or compartmental to a lot of that, unfortunately. Unfortunately, however you want to say it, with missiles like the Winchester gun family and Glock and all that. The old gun, weapon, projectiles families, there's always a lot of tragedy in those families, a lot of death. Sudden tragic death, weird stuff going on in those gun weapons families, yeah. Sword makers, all that, yeah, all that kind of stuff, weird. So it may be a good thing that we're not connected with that, but we're somehow targeted by everybody in a lot of ways. The Africans seem to escape it a little bit. Caribbean men escape it a lot. Caribbean men. And the global, and they have any kind of women they want, man. Caribbean men. I've seen Caribbean men marry all kind of women now. Japanese, Korean, Greek, yeah, all kinds, man. And don't really have a problem. Chinese, but the women, it is like I said, a big archetype of a personality that I love. And this is a Jewish man, Leonard Nimoy. Is excellent man. It is his portrayal of the fictional Mr. Spock. And it is with heavy thought, with pensive thought, that I have evaluated as a simpleton from the South Bronx. It's originally where I'm from, Manhattan, in the South Bronx. Same area as Colin Powell and Larry Ellison. Same part. And Stan Lee. We're from that same radius area of the South Bronx, where they're from. Is how these women, when they cross that ethnic line, they pay a heavy price for doing that. So that Afro-ethnic man, aside from the slave moniker and mantle and inferiority, he should be very well accomplished and something that they can show and they can prance out in public and trot with him in the eye of scrutiny without shame and without disgrace. He has to be very, very well put together. A lot of African, a lot of Caribbean men make sure that they're there. Yeah. He has to be. He has to be out. Whereas there is something concerning my life to ensure that I'm a humiliating quality.